I just want to welcome everybody, grab a coffee, sit down and enjoy the conversation. And just, yeah, I've got a guest with me today. Her name's Daffany Nance. I'm going to be inspired by her story. So Daffany, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So Daffany, tell me a little bit about your story.
Well, my name is Daffany Nance, and I'm a single mother of 4 children. And I was in a very abusive environment.
Okay.
And in that process, I was trying to figure out how do I get out. And living in the hotel at a time, it was not great. And I decided that I had had enough. And so in the middle of the night, I was packing our bags. And unfortunately, DHS had gotten involved and CPS had gotten involved, and we were trying to get out. And normally it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to get into a shelter in my area. But guess what? Within a week, I actually was into a shelter. And they said that was crazy because normally it takes so long. This time it didn't take that long.
That's amazing that the doors opened up for you so quickly.
It was very quick, and I was very thankful. And I had to be strategic because living with a narcissistic ex-husband, it was very dangerous. And I'm glad that we were able to get out freely and safely. And it's been about 11 years now.
So was this the first time that you tried to leave?
It was the first time I tried to leave, yes.
Oh, wow. Because a lot of times it's a multiple leaving and going back situation.
I believe that was the first time, and then I went back and I stayed for a while. And then the next time that I left for good. And
Okay.
I'm glad I did. Normally, people who have domestic violence go back 7 times. And unfortunately, people aren't as successful as I am. But I'm very thankful that the support system and the people that were around me really helped out.
Okay. Daphne, what time of year was this where you left?
Goodness, I actually looked up the date, and it
Oh,
was December 16th, was the initial date that we got accepted. We actually moved into the shelter on December 21st. So it was
wow.
right before Christmas. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm getting goosebumps. It was right
Wow.
before Christmas.
That's
So I didn't even know if we were going to have Christmas or not.
well, and that's a volatile time of year. There's so much extra stress just in the season, you know,
There,
and that can be a very dangerous season.
it can be. I was just very fortunate that, I had my faith and I had people looking out for me. And like I said, it was definitely a blessing that we got in right away. After we got into the shelter, I think my biggest question was like, what am I going to do for Christmas? I'm a single parent of 4 kids now.
And so what was it like at the shelter during Christmas season?
Well, I will tell you it was very lonely. And the reason why I say it was lonely is because, people go for holidays or, normally like school is in place, but school wasn't in place. So like we were there at the shelter by ourselves. We didn't have a TV. We didn't have a computer. So if you want to say it's kind of more old fashioned. But what I think the neatest thing was that people understood in the community that we were just coming into the shelter. So people were starting to show love by making phone calls. They asked us for a wish list for my kids. And then they had also wanted to know if there was anything else we needed. And so one of the big things for me was wanting a Christmas tree. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I'm about to cry. So the
Good.
Christmas tree was really important to me. So
That's good. And I know we had done a preliminary talk like a visit before, and you had mentioned the tree, so I wanted to have my tree in the picture.
thank you.
just to a reminder for people, we don't know what's going to make an impact.
Correct.
Yeah. So did you get some decorations or some now when you say you're in the shelter, were you're the only ones in there?
So it was actually a family shelter, and normally people share the apartment. It was actually kind of like an apartment style, so it actually had a lock. And normally people share, but because I had so many children and just myself, there's only 6 that are allowed in there. So we basically had the apartment to ourselves.
Okay.
So I'll never forget, I got this phone call where this family was like, we want to gift you with a tree. And like, oh my gosh, I was just like so excited because We've always had Christmas trees, even if you don't have any presents underneath it, just the lights, the decorations, it's like personality, right?
Yeah.
And so the Christmas tree was really important to me. And I'll never forget, this family called and said, "We're going to get you a Christmas tree." And I was like all excited. And they're like, "We're going to bring you a live tree." And I was like, okay. So I went downstairs to the shelter management office and I was like checking it out and everything. They're like, "You cannot have a real tree in your apartment." And I'm like, man, I was so disappointed. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm losing out on my tree. And fortunately, I was able to call them back, and we were actually able to get a fake tree, as they would call it. And not only did they provide the tree, they provided ornaments. And it was interesting, they were blue and silver, and kind of somewhat of your colors behind you. And oh, sorry, getting so emotional. And not only did they provide that, they provided stockings.
Oh,
And the stockings actually were handmade, and they had each one of my children's names like glittered on the top.
oh my
And
gosh.
because my children's names are not spelled like Rebecca's spelled with an H, or like Phil's spelled with one L, or like Rachel's spelled differently and Sarah's with an H. So like they literally asked me how my kids' names were spelled, and they had them like calligraphy on the stocking. So it wasn't just
Wow.
the tree. It was like, so when you say about hope and you say about love, it wasn't, it was a total stranger, and a total stranger of like a family who just poured out their love just to make sure that somebody like me in a situation of such a volatile position. I mean, I don't think sometimes we realize like how much little things actually do for other people. But just having that tree there and not having a lot of presents under it, it didn't make a difference to me. It was just the lights were on there and the angel was on the top, and just the little pieces that all went into it, and like the little hand woven fabric pieces that it takes to put a tree together. And it was something we could do as a family, and it was something that we could
Yeah.
celebrate, something that we can look at. And it was just, ooh, it was just really neat, and it really gave me hope to know that it was only up from there.
Well, and someone went to some work to make it special and individual and unique for you and your kids.
Yeah, especially in that time, because we had nothing else. We had were the clothes on our back,
Yeah.
and whatever the shelter provided. So at Christmas, where I thought it would have been just so dismal and like nothing at all, just to have that little piece of hope, to know that there were people in the community that truly supported the shelter that we were in and was willing to show love and go above and beyond. I can't even, and I'm so I'm fortunate that I don't have contact with those people anymore, because it's been years. But I tell you, that started like the turnaround for me, and
Yeah.
and moving forward and knowing that it was going to be okay. There was people behind me to support me.
And to know your own value, that people
Yes,
saw that your family was important.
yes. I don't think we realize that sometimes in situations that we're in, that we need to actually take a step back and look and see if we can change them or make them better. And we need to realize that if we do make that choice to move forward in any direction that may not be so great, that there are people supporting us and that we are important,
Mhm.
because we are, and we lose that sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when we're in that situation, we can feel invisible,
Yes.
like we have no voice.
I don't know if it's just that, but I think too that when we have children, we neglect ourselves. And as you say, we feel invisible. So it was no longer about me, it was about my children. So
Yes.
whatever could make my children happy was important. So that tree, I tell you, it was like the magical little piece in our apartment of nothing. So it was really important.
Oh, that's so good. So what happened the next year at Christmas?
So we actually had gone back to my ex-husband, but that tree never left. It's been goodness gracious. So we got the tree in 2012, and now it's 23. So I believe it's been about 11 years. And I just looked at the tree the other day.
Oh, did
There,
you?
yes, I did. Matter of fact, I actually looked at it today. There have been many times when I've thought about getting rid of the tree, thinking, it just takes up so much room, but I just can't get rid of it. And I think it's because it has so much power and so much meaning behind it. So every Black Friday, we actually set up the tree in the morning after we've gone shopping because it's a new tradition for us. Not that we buy a lot, but it's a new tradition. And actually, the four hooks, as I look to my left, the four hooks are still up on the wall from last year. And that's where our stockings hang every year.
Okay.
And so just to pull the stockings out and to pull the tree out and watch my kids put it together, and just so much has changed since the day that I was in that shelter. And just, oh my gosh, if I knew back then what I know now, and how that tree gave me so much hope and so much light and so much life, I don't think I would ever thought about getting rid of it. But there have been times, just because it takes up space.
Mhm.
But I think it'd be really hard to get rid of the tree. So it's pretty much one of the things, that and one other thing that we had from the shelter has lasted, and that's it. And it's great to look back on things that at one time it wasn't so great, but now it's better. Because we just never know what that piece of item may do for us, and how it may light us up and make us change and make us smile.
Well, and that one tree has brought you so much hope over the years. No matter what kind of situation, you can see the tree every year,
Yeah.
and it's a different Christmas, but it's the same tree that's with you.
It is interesting that you say that, because over the years, we've gotten different lights, we've gotten different
Okay.
ornaments, we've gotten rid of some ornaments, we've gotten some lights, whatever, just along the way. And initially, I think it was a star that was on the top that was given to us. But there was this angel that I used to have when I was with my ex-husband, and we weren't able to bring it along. And my children, we went to a church function, and my daughter was really sick. And my children went and they saw the angel, so they bought the angel for me for Christmas one year. Oh, sorry. And so every year, like, the angel goes on top of the tree, and I get to put the angel in. So yeah, sorry. Um,
It's good.
so, so yeah, just knowing how connected you can be to something so simple, right? And it really does give us hope, because, like, around October or so, I start to think about, oh, Thanksgiving's coming. Oh, Christmas is coming right after that, because around Thanksgiving is when we normally put our tree up. And it's funny because we always say we're going to take it down January 1st, but sometimes that thing stays up till February, only because it's like, I can't take the tree down. And we've talked about making it like a Valentine's Day tree or an Easter tree, and I don't know about all that, but so yeah. Ooh, sorry. Ooh.
It's good. The tree has a lot of good memories for you.
It does, because over the years, I've seen, um, I've seen how it's not about the presents, it's about the tree, and how the tree has evolved, and how we've taken things off and we've added new things. And, every year we take pictures with the tree, and, people come into our lives and people have moved out of our lives, but my children have grown up. And it's neat to look back at those pictures where my children are standing in front of the tree. And I think one year, my one daughter was away in the West, and my son was in school, and so it was just my two younger daughters. And I was like, wow, my children are growing up. And I'm thinking, like, what am I gonna do? And so this year everybody's back for Thanksgiving. So I'm crossing my fingers that we get our family picture this year. We'll see. So
Uh,
not sure, but we can always try. But yeah, so
so does the tree have the same type of significance for the kids too?
I'm not really sure, because I think it's a pain in the butt, because in order to put the tree together, it has three little screws at the bottom,
Okay.
and you have to stick the bottom piece in. And for some reason, we never get it right the first time. Even though we put the tree together many years, we never get it right the first time. And so there's like a bigger piece at the bottom, and then, like, middle piece and the top piece. We never miss the top piece. It's the first two that we normally miss. And so someone actually has to hold the tree to go on the stand, and you have to screw it at the same time. So it is a two-person job. So once the kids leave, I think I won't be in trouble unless I get some help. Um, but um, I'm not sure if it does or not, but we do talk about the tree, and they're like, we got to put the tree up. And then if we miss Black Friday, it's like we're in trouble, because the tree doesn't go up until like closer to Christmas, and then mom's a little disheartened. So
Oh yeah.
Then they start to hear mom's mouth. So I don't think they're happy about that. So like, we got to get this tree up. But it's just neat to watch over the years. My oldest, she put the tree topper on one year and then she was gone. And then my son did, and then he was gone. And now it's my job. So it's kind of exciting, but I'm kind of short. So I need that good old stool of mine. I don't know about other people, but I wish I wasn't so short. And so what I think my children do, because when it gets close to the time frame, they're like, okay, we've got the tree out, and where are the stockings? And they look at the stockings. Do they have them? And they're different colors. I think one's pink, one's purple, one's red, and one is green. So they're all different colors with their names on them, and they hang them in order from my oldest to my youngest. And yeah, I want to say yes, but I don't want to speak for them because they're teenagers now, and I don't want to get in trouble. But I would say yes because they talk about it. So I would think so.
Well, often as kids get older, they're not interested in helping decorate. So just the way you're describing how the family comes together around the tree,
Yeah,
that was the beginning of, it was the beginning at the shelter, coming around the tree, finding hope in the tree, and then every year still coming together around the tree. You need each other to put it together. And
Mhm.
that's very symbolic. You need each other.
Yeah, we do. Oh my gosh, you can make goosebumps.
But
But yeah,
that's the way we're created. We're created for community, we're created for family, and it's important when we work together, and the tree is where you connect.
yeah, we come back here at some point or another, we all come around the tree. It may not be around Christmas as much as it used to be, but the tree is definitely put up together. And, I think about all those kind of roller coaster times of life and just all the hard times. But, that tree is just something that brings us back together, right? And because, Christmas is so commercialized and people think that it's about money or thinks about these other things and stuff. But we're so fortunate, I still have my family. There's other people that don't have their family around, or other people that are struggling because it's their first Christmas with their loved one or someone who's important. So I hope that they can find some solace in the fact that, they can look at a Christmas tree and they can see a different perspective, and that know that there's hope in the light and the beauty of the ornaments and just how it's decorated and how it's presented.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's a tree. It literally is a tree of hope for you.
It is.
That's good. Daphne, thanks so much for sharing. Just this Christmas, it's like a really uplifting Christmas story that came from a time of hardship, but just how it ended up being a tree of hope and a gift of hope that you were given.
It was definitely a blessing, and sometimes we don't get to see those in the beginning, but if we just are patient and wait, we get to see the end result. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, so thank you very much for sharing with us. Just really appreciate that. And for people who are watching, if you'd like to hear more stories, just subscribe, and we'll see you next time. And have a good Christmas season. Bye-bye for now.